Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Talk Junkies, where I'm going to get into some good stuff here. We're going to talk about the Chiefs game tomorrow. We're playing the Arizona Cardinals. It's going to be a great game tomorrow for a few reasons. The first few reasons, I'm just going to go over Arizona. They do have some questionable injuries tomorrow. I'm not really going to go over who's going to be injured tomorrow and what's really going on with the Cardinals when it comes to health and longevity of their team. But when it comes to the defense, there's a lot of questions. I mean, the Cardinals are 2-6. They got a rookie quarterback, basically, Larry Fitzgerald, who had over 100 catches last year, pretty much non-existent this year. Same with their running game. Right now, they're averaging 13.8 points per game, which is 31st in the league this year. So they're not really scoring the ball that much. Yards per game, they're really low. They're last in the league at 233 yards per game. I mean, that's really low, super duper low. Passing yards are at 165 yards per game, which is 31st. They only average 67 rushing yards, which is 32nd in the league. Their third down conversion percentage is at 26%, which is last in the league. The only thing that really concerns me is their red zone offense, with a conversion rate of at 64% that they're scoring the ball when they get in the red zone, which is 11th. With the vulnerable defense that the Chiefs have, if the Cardinals do get short fields and short field possessions, I think that they have an opportunity to score the ball when they get in the red zone because they're 11th in the league when they get in the red zone. And they give away the ball they give the ball away at least 2 times a game, which is 28th in the league. So that's one thing you can't do against Kansas City is make a turnover or give the ball away to the Kansas City Chiefs no matter where you are on the field. Whether we're on the 5-yard line or the 20 to 30, wherever the Chiefs end up having the ball, there's a really good chance that they're going to score a touchdown, especially against a 2-6 team that's really not doing too well this year. Like I said, my only concerns with tomorrow is going to be Larry Fitzgerald. He's still a big guy. I don't know. He probably doesn't have the speed that he used to, but he still can catch the ball. And against a Chiefs secondary, granted, I think we get Sorensen back tomorrow. I still see Fitzgerald potentially having a really good game tomorrow. So just look out for that. Look out for Fitzgerald to have maybe 5 to 8 catches for around 80 to 100 yards and maybe a touchdown or 2 for Fitzgerald, because when he's a big target in the end zone, and we really don't have anyone that can cover him in the end zone when it comes to length. We don't really have tall guys on our team when it comes to the secondary. I mean, Nelson's a small guy. Ron Parker's decent. Maybe he's in like 6'1" or 2. Scandrick isn't really that big either, and neither is Fuller. I mean, they're really not tall, lengthy guys. So that's really the only opportunity that they're going to have tomorrow with the Cardinals. And whether or not they run the ball or not, that's completely – I mean, they're going to have to, because when it comes to their – like I said, they can't run the ball. It's 67 yards per game. So, I mean, it would be a perfect opportunity for them to try and run the ball because the Chiefs' defense cannot stop the run no matter who's running the ball. So when it comes to the defensive stats for the Arizona Cardinals, they give up 24.9 points per game, which is 17th in the league. So not too bad when it comes to points per game. They give up 367 yards per game, which is 22nd in the league. Their third down percentage is right at 40%, and that's 16th in the league. And their red zone defense allows touchdowns 60% of the time, which is 17th in the league. They give up 143 rushing yards per game, so Kareem could have a really good game tomorrow. It just really depends. I thought the Chiefs were going to run the ball a lot last week. They didn't. They came out passing, and then they started to run when it came into the third and fourth quarter when the game was pretty much already in hand for the Chiefs. Passing yards per game, this is where it's going to get interesting, because they only allow 224.6 yards passing yards per game, which is 7th in the league. So right now, Patrick Mahomes has a tied record with Andrew Luck for 8 straight games with 300 yards passing in the history of football. So tomorrow's going to be a test for Patrick Mahomes. If he's going to throw the ball over 300 yards, he may not have to. I mean, you would think that Andy Reid and him and even Clark Hunt or anyone on the team would want Patrick to have this record. Why not? You're this close. I know it's his first year basically with the Chiefs, and he's going to have plenty more opportunities to do it. But why not just get it out of the way? Why not give him another record right now? Get it already in the bag, baby. Get it in the bag. Let's go. And they get 1.5 takeaways a game, which is 14th in the league. So this is going to be one of Patrick's toughest games when it comes to passing the ball. And I think Patrick Peterson is playing, so Whether or not he guards Tyreek Hill and whether or not he's completely healthy enough to do that, we'll see. But you still have other weapons. I'm not sure how healthy Sammy Watkins is going to be tomorrow. I'd have to look at a report and see how his ankle's doing. I know he kind of banged it up a little bit last week in the third or fourth quarter, and you could kind of see him limping. He tried to come back on. I just didn't know how well he was really doing. So this is going to be a big test. I mean, Travis Kelce's going to have a big game. But at the end of the day, I mean, the stats say that the Cardinals are good against the pass. And if that's the case and the Chiefs aren't doing too hot when it comes to passing, I don't see – I mean, and granted, the Cardinals haven't seen an offense like ours, in my opinion. But at that point, just run the ball. Just give the ball to Kareem, get Spencer Ware in there, have a dual running back, and just run the ball all game and just run it all over him. So tomorrow is going to be a good game. It's going to be I think last week I called Kareem having 150 scrimmage yards. I think he had like 141 scrimmage yards with 3 touchdowns. Tomorrow I think he's going to get a healthy dose of the ball, maybe 15 to 18 carries tomorrow. I'm going to go on the high end. He's going to have a big day tomorrow because this is probably the worst rush defense he's played all year. And I'm going to go out and say he's going to have 170 yards rushing tomorrow. 170. I'm calling it with 2 touchdowns. And he may get a few catches, so he might have 200 all-purpose yards tomorrow. Patrick Peterson is a shutdown corner. When it comes to, I think it was Pro Football Talk or someone like that, came out and said that Patrick Peterson is actually regressing, and he has been regressing this year, and he's only 28, and that's why his value shouldn't have been as high as it was when people were trying to trade for him before the deadline. But he's still Patrick Peterson. He still plays at an all-time level. And he's most likely going to be guarding Tyreek Hill the whole game. But I want to see Patty get that 300 yards. But I think it's going to be a big test for him tomorrow. So look out for that. Look out for Kareem having a really big day, 150-plus yards rushing. Look for Patrick to maybe get his streak ruined for 300 yards passing. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But the Cardinals seem to be good at stopping the pass. But we'll see. Patrick Mahomes is a different beast. They haven't seen him yet. So let's get to the Chiefs side of the ball. Our offensive ranks this year, 36.3 points per game, first in the league. 433 yards per game, which is third in the league. Yards per play. This is all season, folks. 7 yards average per play, which is first in the league. That's crazy. I'm curious to know what's the most yards per play for a whole season is. I wonder what the record is. I think the Chiefs have a good chance of breaking that. Third down percentage, we're at 48%, which is fourth in the league. Red zone efficiency or red zone percentage, 73%, which is fourth in the league. So we score the ball 70% of the time when we get past the 20-yard line. Rushing yards per game, which Kareem hasn't had to do it much. I think we're keeping him healthy for the playoffs at 117.6 yards per game, which is 13th in the league. For really not even running the ball that much, and he's fourth in the league in rushing. He's a stud, 13th in the league in rushing. Hey, save Kareem as long as you can. Don't get him weird and tore up, and that's going to be a beautiful thing. If the Chiefs offense continues to play that the way it does and Kareem doesn't take these beatings, and he only has to run the ball, 10 to 14 times a game. And in the playoffs, obviously, he's going to have more than that. He's going to have more than 14 carries. But during the regular season, if you can get away with 10 to 14 carries a game, and granted that's going to hurt his stats and his legacy and who he is as a player and whether or not the Chiefs sign him to a big contract, but do that, do that. Allow him to have longevity in football, which is very rare for a running back. But it won't be for Kareem if he doesn't take the beating, if he doesn't have to. Passing yards per game is 315 passing yards per game, third in the league. Nothing new there. We know that's how well the Chiefs offense plays. It's a beautiful thing to watch. It's very, very great. And let's get to the defensive side. So this is an interesting stat. We've actually been climbing down, at 25.1 points per game, which is 19th in the league. This is going to be a great opportunity for the Chiefs defense to show up and get these defensive stats better and make them look better. And granted, it's not all about stats, but this is a 2-6 team, and you need to show up defensively. We get Sorensen back, and let's just play ball. Don't even allow Arizona to be in the game. Don't give them any chance to be in the game. Just plain and simple, that's where it is. So yards per game, 427.4 yards per game when you give up, which is 31st in the league. third down percentage, this is where we strive, and this is bend but don't break. Bob Sutton. It's 34.58%, which is fourth in the league. So nice job on that, guys. Keep it up on third down. Rush. Red zone percentage, we're pretty bad. 67% chance once you get in the red zone, you're going to score against us, which is 27th in the league. We're going to have to improve on that stat, especially when it comes to playoff time. I don't want to get in any shootouts, and if we play the Patriots or the Steelers, that's exactly what's going to happen. So we need to improve upon that stat. Rushing yards per game, we give up 124.8 rushing yards per game, 25th in the league. I'm surprised that's not last, but teams don't have to run. They get behind, they start passing the ball. And passing yards per game is 302, which is 28th in the league. So when it comes to overall yards, rushing yards, passing yards, obviously it's a bend but don't break. So any week you listen to the commentators, well, Bob Sutton, he's a bend but don't break. So he doesn't care how many yards he doesn't care how many yards you get. He's just relying on takeaways, which we average 1.4 takeaways a game. That's 16th in the league. And I'm okay with the bend but don't break and give up as many yards as possible, but don't break. But when people get in the red zone, they're scoring almost 70% of the time. So obviously that bend but don't break isn't working. And then people are going to say, well, Eric Berry's hurt, Justin Houston's hurt, Daniel Sorensen's been hurt. All these players have been hurt, and very true. I've talked about it in a lot of my podcasts, the past few podcasts. And when they do come back, obviously the defense is going to get better. It has to get better. So when that does happen, then we can talk about it. But as of right now, they're not on the team. They're not playing, so I'm not going to talk about it. And these are the numbers. This is where we lay defensively. It's not good. And in some cases, it's alarming, especially when it comes into the playoffs when you're playing the top teams in your league. It's just that simple. So tomorrow, defensively, I think the Chiefs have a good game. How good, I don't really know. Average, maybe. When it comes to the score, I'm going to go, man, I hate doing scores. I mean, the spread is 16.5 from Vegas, which is insane. I'm going to go, and Andy Reid's conservative, sorry. We could have easily put up 50 points last week against the Browns, but good old conservative Andy Reid, when it's third quarter and we're up 21 points, we're just going to run the ball twice and then we're going to throw a little out on third down, or we're not going to extend the playbook and do something creative. No, what was it? 2 third downs last week. He did some weird side plays on third down. I'm like, Andy, what are you doing? It was just completely weird plays. But that's good old Andy Reid for you. In the playoffs, we've been up 28 points against the Colts, and Andy Reid got real conservative. And what happened in the playoffs? We lost. Come on, man. And then against the Titans, we're up, 18, 19 points? And good old Andy Reid. I'm going to run the ball. My clock management skills aren't very good. I've been in the league for, 20 years now. And then when it comes to playoffs, sorry, my Andy Reid impression is not very good. But what I'm saying is that's his track record. And it's been his track record with everyone in football. Everyone loves him. He's a quarterback guru. He does all these amazing things. Michael Vick talks amazing about him. Donovan McNabb talks amazing about him. Same with Alex Smith. He produced the best Alex Smith that Alex Smith didn't even know he could produce. And then with what he's done with Patrick so far has been slight to amazing. So, I just went off on a rant. Sorry. The score of tomorrow's game will be. Oh yeah, that's why I went into that. Sorry, because he's conservative, and we could probably put up 50 points against the Cardinals, but I don't think we will. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 37-10 tomorrow. 37-10 will be the score of tomorrow's game. I already told you what Kareem's gonna do. I think we have a couple turnovers. I think we forced some turnovers. D Ford has to get a sack tomorrow. He didn't last week. Granted, the Browns are a very talented team, as everyone knows, but he has to get a sack tomorrow. He did have a sack last week, sorry, and a forced fumble, but the refs called a offsides penalty, and when they showed the replay, he wasn't even offsides. So that was pretty amazing to watch, and it was very frustrating. But at the same time, that's another thing that concerns me with the Kansas City Chiefs is their penalties. Dude, they're last in the league in penalties, yards of penalties per game. Very sloppy football, and that's not going to work in the playoffs. So luckily we have pretty much half a season to get that corrected, and normally Andy doesn't have a penalty-stricken team. He just doesn't have that. And this year he does. And I think that they're going to get it on track before the playoffs start, and we won't have to really worry about penalties. The only penalties we'll have to worry about, and it's if Eric Berry comes back, we don't have to worry about it as much, but is just the secondary with pass interferences and holds and stuff like that. I think we're still going to have issues with that all season because we don't have the strongest secondary in football. But you get Justin Houston back, then you really don't have to worry about it that much because we're going to have pass rushers on the outside edge doing their thing, creating havoc. But Tom Brady does get the ball out with under 2 seconds every time. But either way, tomorrow's game, 37-10, Chiefs win. It's going to be a good game. Jesse and I will be on tomorrow night with some post-game on it and some other stuff. So I hope you liked the video, everyone. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Comment, please, down below. Let me know what you think tomorrow's score is going to be. You think the Chiefs are going to ride it out, just do their thing, and absolutely demolish and cover the spread at 16.5? Or do you think the Cardinals are going to make it close? Put it in the comment section below. Like I said, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I will talk to you later, my junkies.